What's going on, everybody? You came back. Welcome to part 2 of the JavaScript basics tutorials. In this part 2, we're going to continue working with the canvas just really quickly, just show some of the other things that we can do. And then we're going to get into functions. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's say we wanted to continue just drawing this, line. So where we left off, we have this lovely piece of contemporary art. And if we wanted to, we could just continue drawing lines. So for example, I'm just going to copy these two lines. We don't need to move two because that's all we did. Like we did that to like move without actually drawing. But if we actually want to draw, we just line 2 and then stroke. So let's say we did, 70 and 55 here. If we rerun that, you'll see, okay, now we've got this, angle added. But what we're really interested in is these blobs. Like I really want to know, how do I draw like a blob? And what's a blob? It's a circle. So how do I draw a circle to the canvas? Well, there's a method that is arc. So in this case, we would context.arc. And then the way that you look at this or think about this is arc, in theory, if you did a full arc, it would be a full circle. So what would the center of this, if you did draw a full circle, what would the center be? So in this case, we'll say 100, 100. Now with arc, you don't have to draw a circle. So arc is here for any time you want a curved line, right? You might want to continue the curve all the way to make a circle, but you also just might want a curved line. So that's what arc kind of solves all those things in one fell swoop. So you would say, what's the size, what's the location, like the XY, 100, 100. And then the next thing that we would pass here is what's the size. And then you've got the starting angle and the ending angle. So we're going to say 0, and then you would say, basically you're going to think of this in terms of pies. So 1 times a math.pi is going to be half of a circle. So let me just add a context.stroke, and let's go ahead and run that. And you'll see here, so we drew to, now we didn't draw, like this doesn't go to 100, 100, it's a bit beyond that, but the center of this circle, which would be like right there, that would be 100, 100. So if we want to draw a full circle now, math.pi, we could say 2 times math.pi. And we will run that. And now we have this full circle. Okay, pretty cool. So now what I want to do is basically all we actually want is to have a circle for now. So I'm going to delete everything up to begin path. We're going to begin path. We're going to arc. The center is here. Cool. And then we stroke. So it's kind of like, this would be your line 2 and then stroke. So, and then we don't need to move to in this case. So, okay, so let's test that really quickly. Yes. So now that's a pretty boring blob. We would probably want to fill it. So, you can probably, I think you can get away with this afterwards too. You could do a context fill after the stroke or before the stroke. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The other thing that we can do is, let me just test this, make sure. Yeah. The other thing that we can do is change the actual color with context.fillStyle. So we can say context.fillStyle, and in this case we'll go with a beautiful green. So now we get our green circle. Now what if we wanted to have multiple blobs like this? How would we actually do that? And the way that we would wind up doing that, you might think, well, I'll just copy and paste. I'm an expert computer person. And you could do that, but you probably don't want to do that, right? Like we definitely just copy and paste, but that's why we use functions, or at least things like functions. So like we can use variables to get rid of copying and pasting to some extent. Mostly variables is there, so like if you needed to change a value as you write, you would just change it in one location, or you can use variables if you want the program to like change a value based on some conditions. With functions, it's just going to clean up clutter and stuff like that, but it's also going to make it easier on the programmer, because imagine if you wanted to like change these lines. Like suddenly let's just imagine you wanted to do something different with how you get a blob to the screen or what you're going to do with that blob or whatever. Now you got to come through and change every single one of these. It's a pain in the butt. And so anyway, we definitely want to use functions or something like functions. We'll talk about classes in a little bit, not in this video. So the way that we're going to do that is to, with a function, we'll just come here and let's just call this function. We're going to call it blob. And then you have your parameters, and then the function itself. Now, what does a blob take? Well, a blob is going to take, basically it's this stuff right here. We don't need to talk about the starting and the ending angle here because we're always going to use the same values here. It's always going to make a full circle. So we really just want the X, the Y, size, and the color. So that's exactly what I'm going to write here. X, Y, size, color. Then what we want to do is take this code here, and I'm just going to cut it, paste it, and I'm going to highlight here, and I am going to, I was going to try to tab that. There we go. Hit tab and tab it over. So now that we've done that, the next thing is we need to fix these variables in here. So like right now, that's just hard coded, and this is part of what we wanted to fix. So we're actually just going to pass X, Y, size, and then in here, we're going to just put color. So now we've got this blob function, and now we actually want the blob function to run. So the way that we could do that is just literally call blob. Now sometimes you might write a function that has no parameters, right? So it looks like this, and it does something besides what we've just done here. So maybe these values are filled in, right? And one of the common mistakes I see from new programmers, and myself included, I've made this mistake, was you call blob but you forget the parentheses, or worse, in your actual, definitions of things, you add parentheses, which makes it run. So here, this is just a pointer to the blob function. Here, this is running the blob function. Okay, so let me add those vars back. Hopefully, there we go. Nice. So now we want to actually run the blob function. So we are just going to pass in, let's do 25, 100, size will be 20, and color will make green. So first, let's just test to make sure that works. Sure enough. And now what I want to do is close the tabs. If you used my editor, it would all be in the same tab. Okay, so let's just add a few more. 75, and we'll go with a 50, and then we'll put, I'm not going to make 5 of them, but we can do at least a few. So we'll do 25. And then 100, and then this will be red, and then this one's blue, and awesome, we run it. Cool. So that's functions. That's why we're doing it. Just as a note, don't forget to begin path. If we don't begin path, like what if I took this and just put it right out here? Let me just run that real quick, show you. Notice how it looks pretty funky. What's going on there? Well, begin path also takes note of where, not only where the stroke is happening, but for fill. So the last thing is going to be filled here, but every step of the way. So let me just show one more thing before I close out this tutorial, because I don't think we've talked about comments. So if we want to get rid of something, or we want to make a note to ourselves, like, makes a green blob, we use comments. And the way you make a single line comment is with 2 forward slashes, and then the way you would make a multi-line comment is with a slash and then an asterisk and then multiple lines, and I guess I should make multiple lines, and then an asterisk and a slash, and then I'll close it off. Now comments aren't read by like JavaScript or rendered by the browser or anything. They're there for either your notes or so someone else reading your code gets a better understanding of like what is happening in your code. And then, so basically pretty much those two things, either just a note to yourself later, like I want to add this or work on this next, or you're telling yourself how a function works, or anything. So anyways, But you can also use it for debugging purposes. Like, so in this case, I just wanted to show that the fill will now be, you know, all red basically everywhere because of what we've done. Cool. So yeah, so the reason why I wanted to show that is just as a reminder, or not even really a reminder. I haven't really totally made it absolutely clear. I guess I did say begin path starts and restarts, but keep that in mind. It's not just for a stroke, it's for a fill, it's for everything going on. So you definitely want to make sure you begin path for every single blob or thing that you draw to the canvas. Okay, well, I think that we've made some really good progress here. We've got multiple blobs on the screen. The next thing we would want to start doing is moving some blobs, right? We want to get these blobs animated and moving around and stuff and bring them to life. So in the coming videos, that's exactly what we're going to be working on, is how do we get these to actually move around and all that. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, whatever, feel free to leave them below. And a quick shout out to some of my channel members. Henry, Sundar, Rajneesh, Cheeky, Buns13, and Frank Lloyd. Welcome back, all of you guys, for your 3rd months. You guys are amazing. And that's it, guys. I will see you guys in another video.